Yo. Welcome into the ChrisBeCappinn Show, man. Today is May the 27th, 2025. The Eastern Conference Finals lives on tonight. Game number 4 between the Indiana Pacers and the New York Knickerbockers. We'll talk about it. And actually, we're going to jump right into it. It'll be a short NBA show for today. And I apologize. I know I'm running a couple minutes late. I always end up just taking a little extra time getting things done that I need to get done and run out of time. But I apologize for that. Let's jump right into it with no further ado, man. I didn't bet yesterday's game. I talked about how I thought it was a difficult game to bet. If I would have bet it, I think I would have went 2-2. The plays that I had on the screen were the team total under for OKC. They flew over that. The Timberwolves, I wanted them plus the points. That would have been a winner. So one loser, one winner. Then Dante DiVincenzo over his points was an easy winner, and Naz Reid over his points was also a loser. So I would have went 2-2 yesterday. Hopefully you guys made some money. We'll jump into the comments just really, really quickly, and then we'll get over to the game for today. We'll jump right into it. So no play for me yesterday. Argina says, good morning, Chad. Good morning, Argina. She says, went 1-1 last night. Cash check Holmgren under his 8.5 boards. Lost Naz Reid over his 11.5 points. Didn't really look to shoot the ball, which was interesting. I see him hit the 3 early, and then you're right, he stopped shooting. I love it. Says go Thunder. What up, Fury Lee? Good morning, Justin. Good morning, Brian. What up, Fredro? Just hit the like button, man. Let's get the capping. Appreciate that. What up, Peasy? Says he cast Wolves plus 3.5. I thought it was the right side last night. They just couldn't get it stopped, man. OKC shot the ball extraordinary last night. Adam says, good morning, Chris. I hope you bet on the Wolves. My OKC money line and team total over was dead on. I should have went with my gut. Always go with your gut, Adam. Always go with your gut. Florida, new name, says OKC money line was an absolute gift. Who thought that they would have lost back-to-back after getting embarrassed? Well, I mean, the money line, you're right, but they didn't cover the number, and now they're 0-7, I think, against the spread on the road. What up, Lamont? Appreciate you for tapping in. Let's see. What up, 77 Figures? Says big shout out to Minnie last night for that finish. Yeah, that was crazy. Good morning, Kenneth. Feel like I ain't seen you in a while. He says he caught a plus 6.5 was easy work. Yeah, I mean, Timberwolves fought tooth and nails last night, man. They just couldn't get it stopped. They ended up winning the rebound battle, but it didn't look like they won the rebound battle. I felt like OKC was grabbing all the offensive boards last night. Let's jump into it for today. So yesterday, jaXon went 1-1. jaXon is an AI sports betting tool that you guys can utilize to handicap games, give you intel on player prop sides, totals, team totals, WNBA, NBA, MLB, whatever you could think of, right? So yesterday, jaXon Cason Wallace under his 11.5 points, rebounds, and assists. He did go over. And jaXon also Jalen Williams over his 4.5 assists. That was a winner. So jaXon went 1-1 yesterday. As far as the prompt for today, same one, right? Favorite 2 player props in the NBA today, 1 over, 1 under. jaXon likes Pascal Siakam over his 2.5 assists. This is a little juiced at minus 150. Maybe use it as a parlay piece. Says that he's been consistent at hitting the over on his line 80% of his last 5 and 10 games. His recent averages of 3.8 assists over his last 5 games and 3.5 assists over his last 10 games further support this pick. Opponents matchup. So the Knicks rank 5th against his position, which is a strong ranking. However, Siakam's ability to distribute the ball efficiently has allowed him to overcome tough matchups. So then you got the home advantage. At home, he's over in 65.22% of the games this season with an average of 3.41. Siakam has hit the over in 63.74% of his games this season, showing consistent performances across a larger sample size. So takes Pascal Siakam up and over his 2.5 assists. Next up, Andrew Nembhard under 11.5 points. Says he struggled to consistently exceed this line, hitting it in just 50% of his last 20 games. His average over that span is 11.75, slightly below this number. Which 11.75 is not slightly below 11.5, but you gotta catch it. The Knicks ranked 23rd in defense against his position, which is weak. However, Nembhard's individual performance against the Knicks this season has been underwhelming with the average of just 9.2 points in 5 matchups. At home, Nembhard has hit the over in only 28.95% of the games this season with an average of just 10.11. Over season trends, over the season, course of the season, Nemhard's hit the over in just 39.74% of games, further indicating that this line is slightly too high for his typical output. And this might be correlated with, with Aaron Nesmith, being on the injury report listed as questionable for the game. But that's jaXon. Check it out. 50% promo in the description if you guys are interested. Let's jump into it. So Knicks Pacers line sitting at about 2.5. It looks, well, the consensus is about 2.2. So some 2.5s out there, just as many 2s out there. Total has dropped. Last game was 223. It's down to 220.5 now. 220 on a couple books as well. So Aaron Nesmith, of course, got hurt in the last game. That's the big injury concern here in this one. I don't really think we got to look too much more of an injury report. As far as the game goes, though, if we just look at, because I left these in here so we could go back and reference them, right? So game one, we saw the Pacers shoot really well from the 3-point line, really well for the game. This was the Aaron Nesmith game where he hit all the threes, forced the overtime. Pacers ended up winning the game. Also, Knicks turned the ball over a lot, 27 times, led to 15 points off those turnovers. We all remember this, right? Game two, pretty much the same thing. Pacers, their defense plays a lot better, but their offense still shoots above 40% from the 3-point line, 51%. Oh, I feel like I got to sneeze. Hold on. Oh, maybe it's not going to come. 52% pretty much from the field, and they also dominate the points off turnovers in the turnover battle again. So then we fast forward to game number 3, right? The Pacers don't shoot the ball as well, 44% from the field, only 20% from the 3-point line. So a lot of shooting regression. Even though they were at home in that game, they missed a lot of wide open looks. You can see that the Knicks, play some defense specifically in the second half. This game was a tale of two different halves, of course. The interesting thing, though, is that one of the interesting things, anyway, is that the Pacers actually won the boards. They were -3 on offensive rebounds, but they were +1 in rebounds in general. They also had more assists than the Knicks. The Knicks offense was just kind of stuck in mud, but they did enough. The Pacers slowed the tempo down. And also, you can see the points off turnovers. Pacers still won that, right? Pacers are really good at taking care of basketball. I think that's underrated. Tyrese Halliburton does not turn it over a lot at all. So you can see here, they ended up with 14 turnovers, but only gave up 8 points off those turnovers. The Knicks gave up 22 points off their 15 turnovers. So the more I think about the game, right, the Pacers were up by 20, which the Knicks were up by 20 in both of the first two. Well, I don't know if it was up by 20 in both of the first two games, but the Knicks had a big lead in game number 1, of course. The Knicks had a pretty big lead in game 2, and then they lost both of the games. Now the Pacers have had a big lead, and they lost the game as well. They had a 20-point lead in the second quarter, ended up, I think, going up by like 15, 14 or something like that at halftime, and then they kind of wet the bed in the second half. So going through and looking back at it, right, I think one of the things that stood out to me was Rick Carlisle taking responsibility for the slow start, thinking that they move the ball, play a little bit they play a little bit faster, they come out to shoot a little bit faster as well. And I do expect that to happen in this game. I also like that Tyrese Halliburton, took some ownership and, after the game, acknowledging that they slowed down the pace and they shouldn't have. He regretted not pushing the tempo, getting the offense, out and not stalling like they did in the second half, specifically in that fourth quarter where they got dominated. So I like the Pacers, man. I think that, the Knicks came in, they got their one. I talked about liking the Knicks plus the 2, thinking that they were the better team. The Knicks, in my opinion, they kind of laid it all on the line. I know that their defense played a lot better with some of those guys coming off the bench. Thibodeau actually, realizing that he had, some reserves down there. I think if Aaron Nesmith plays, and I do expect him to be out there today, get that ankle wrapped up, injected, whatever you need from him. I think the Pacers get the job done at the crib today, man. I think Knicks stole their one. Pacers have been the better team in the series. They're going to keep fighting. They're going to keep pushing, keep clawing. And I don't think we see 20 points or 8 rebounds from Karl-Anthony Towns. I feel like the Knicks are the more banged up team, even with the Aaron Nesmith injury. I think the longer the series goes on, the more it favors the Pacers as well, in my opinion, because they're the deeper team, because they play less games than the Knicks have as well. So I like the Pacers. If I'm betting the game, I'm betting the over. I think the Pacers offense plays fast again. I think that they shoot better than 20% from the 3-point line. At least just a Pacers team total over. I'm not sure what the Knicks going to do. The Knicks offense has actually been bad back-to-back games. Pacers being at the crib, understanding that, can't give home court advantage back. You went in New York and you won both games. You got to win at least one game here to give yourself a 3-1 lead. So that's the way I see the game. Real short, quick, to the point. That's the way I'm liking it. Let's see what you guys are thinking, and we'll jump into some player props that you guys may be looking at as well. I didn't even go through player props, if I'm being honest, in this one. The one thing that did, well, I did go through them, but the one thing that stood out to me was Tyrese Halliburton, his assist prop. Matter of fact, let's go look at it real quick, and then we'll get into a quick recap. Just one player prop for me today, which is this for the WNBA show. Don't be looking at Gabby. It's my girl. It's like, nah. All right, so we look at Tyrese Halliburton real quick. This is Outlier for people that are new. Link in the description, 7-day free trial if you want to test it out. So Tyrese Halliburton, I was looking at his assist prop specifically in this game. I just think it's going to be a bounce back game. So I saw this. You can get a juice 8.5, I think like minus 130. I probably would play Tyrese Halliburton over his 8.5 assists. You can see that he went up and over in both of the first two games. He only had 7 in the last game. His potentials, of course, went down, but he still finished with 13. If Tyrese Halliburton is going to get, I'm expecting more than 13 potentials. I think more like maybe between 20 and 15, maybe 15, 16, 17. I think that he can go out there and get 9 assists. So I would play the juice 8.5 if I'm betting on any of the player props here. You can see that it did open at 8.5. It got bet up to 9.5 and then back down to 8.5 and now back up to 9.5. So looks like most people like Tyrese Halliburton over, and that's the way that I would be playing it as well. He's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. So that's my thought process, and how I would be looking to play player props in this game. It's really all I'm thinking about is I want to take the Pacers in this one. I haven't bet it yet. I haven't sent that out to the members, but that's the only way I'm looking. Let's see what you guys are thinking about this one. Adam says we got to go with Pacers team total over this game. I think they can get to 111.5. I would agree. I would absolutely agree with that. I think that it's gonna bounce back for their offense as well. Couldn't get a defense rebound. Knew I wasn't tripping, Dirty Rig. Jay Stone says, love the morning vibes of the show. Appreciate that, Jay Stone. What up, Mark? Hope all is well out in Texas. Siakam under 6 boards, under 6 rebounds. Lock it. I love it, says. Jay Will Jay Will looked like the MVP last night, man. Let's see. Cat under 2 assists. Definitely not fading playoff Nembhard, Adam says. Pacers will have trouble guarding Halliburton if Nembhard is ruled out. I agree with that prop, but I don't think that he's going to be out, though. I think he's going to play, and I'm kind of waiting to see what happens with Nembhard. Mark says he played Indiana team total over 111.5 tonight. Looking at over 220, and I agree. We're on the same side here. Justin says he locked in Brunson 30+ points. Hart needs a big game. Yeah, we like Hart in the last game. He didn't do as much. Adam says, I want to fade Brunson points again. He only averages 24 in the road, but I'm scared. I kind of feel like Brunson not 100%, man. Karl Anthony Towns won in that game last game. I know you guys know because y'all was watching, but I want to fade the Knicks in general. I think the other thing I failed to mention was teams come. Oh, matter of fact, I got it up. So here's some trends for you guys real quick before I go through the comments. So home favorites in game 4, who lost game 3. So this is the Pacers, right? So they're home favorite in game 4, lost game 3 as a home favorite. 74-34 straight up, 63.2%, 59-32-5, 59-53-5. That's 53% almost since 2022. That favors the Pacers in this spot. And then home favorites who are up 2-1, but they lost game 3 specifically, and they are home favorite again in their next game, 31-12 straight up, 25-17-1 against the number. These were 2 trends that I found that do support the Pacers as well. I kind of like these. GLB says what up, GLB? Says systems trends got me leaning to the full game under. I saw some unders too, and that's what scared me on the over. But man, it's hard to predict these games in the NBA. I keep saying this in the playoffs, man. These are like, we've never seen this many 20-point comebacks in league history. We've seen so many 20-point comebacks. Just going back to the last series between the Knicks and the Pacers. I mean, between the Knicks and the Celtics. Never seen anything like this, man. Tariq says, good morning, Chris. Live bet for me. Bet whenever it has a +4.5 or more spread. It's going to be a close game, heavy lean to the Pacers. You take the Pacers on the money line. It's the way I want to play it. I don't even want to be involved with the, with the -2, 2.5. I just want to take the money line, think that they win the game. Logan says, you think Cat gets one block tonight? The line's too good to pass up. I think he can. Yeah, I do think so. Meat says Pacers been attacking Brunson and he can't guard without fouling. That's a fact. If you've been watching, he got in foul trouble in that last game. Crazy to think every time they go on a run, it's because Tyrese Halliburton, because Jalen Brunson's on the bench. But we saw it in game 2 and in game 3. Brunson under his rebounds and assists for Michael. I don't think this is a bad look. Dom says trifecta spot for me. He took it. Pacers first quarter, first half, and full game. Brian says, good morning, Chris. Nice cover last night. My goodness, yeah, that was a good one. I thought that when SGA, so first of all, I thought SGA was fouled on that last free throw that was missed by Anthony Edwards on purpose. When that rebound came out and SGA, I think it was Dante DiVincenzo, kind of landed on SGA, but they didn't call a foul. I was like, whoa. And when he threw the ball up in the air, threw the ball down the court, I thought it was going to land out of bounds, but it didn't. Well, it did, but I thought it was going to land inbounds, and the game was just going, the clock was just going to run out. But yeah, you can't call how these games going to finish, man. Brian says Indiana trifecta spot, team total over for the first half and full game. Couldn't talk you off. Justin says 20-point leads mean bet the money line on the other team for big money. That's what it's looking like in today's NBA. It's new, man. It's new stuff for sure. You used to see teams get smoked when they down 20 points, but that'll be. Oh, I didn't even update this. Let me go back. This is what I talked about yesterday. Like I said, I didn't bet it. I kind of do want to wait on the Nembhard news because he is very impactful for what they can do defensively. But it's Indiana money line for me. Full game, first half, and then also I'm not sure if it's. I'll just go Indy team total over. The reason why is because I don't know. I don't really know how much I enjoy watching the Knicks offense recently. It don't look like it's getting better, in my opinion. So I'll just go Pacers team total up and over. Maybe even a Knicks team total under, honestly, which is like, again, leads to the spread. So let's see real quick before we jump off of here. So we got, if we look at, I feel like, no, I'm not tripping, but I just want to double check. The Knicks haven't gotten to one. Their team total is 109.5. They would need to get to 110. Have they scored 110 points? Outside of game 1, they went to overtime, which they did get there in game 1. They haven't gotten to 110. They scored 109 at home in game 2, and they just scored 106 in game 3. So maybe even a Knicks team total under 109.5. We'll see though. But all that to me means, just Indy on the money line, in my opinion. So that is a stronger play, in my opinion, on this game. And then the player prop that I talked about, if I like the Pacers to score, then I love Tyrese Halliburton over. Like I said, you can get 8.5 assists. It is juice. I think it was on FanDuel, but I would just play the 8.5 assists. Maybe Tyrese, 8 assists and a win, something like that. But I think that's the way I'm looking. Like I said, Knicks, I was on them last. Well, I wasn't on them. I didn't play it, but that's the way I was thinking about in the last game, and it would have been a winner. This game, we'll go back to the Pacers. I think that they get the job done. Use the link in the description to sign up for all the plays that I make. When I make them, you'll receive them via email. Best of luck on your action. Check the resources out: jaXon, Outlier, Moneyballer, OddsJam, and a link in the description for new sports books if you guys are interested as well, man. Drop the show link in the group chat. Hit the like button and enjoy your Monday, man. If you're interested in WNBA, if that's your thing, I'll meet you guys in a couple minutes. We'll start that stream, get into the WNBA for today, man. Best of luck on your action. I'll catch you guys in the next one.